tongue, and here many times they ask the question what type of muscles are present in the tongue of human being You may get options like striated muscles, B, non-striated muscles, C, both of them, fourth, cardiac muscles. You should answer striated muscles. Though the entire alimentary canal from middle part of the esophagus to till rectum, it is made up of non-striated muscles, whereas tongue, then anterior part of esophagus are made up of striated muscles. I shall repeat once again. Anterior part of the esophagus and tongue are made up of striated voluntary muscles. Striated voluntary muscles. Okay. Now the tongue towards the posterior end, it bears a V-shaped structure like this. Towards the posterior end, it bears a V-shaped structure which is called sulcus terminalis. What is it known as? Sulcus terminalis. Towards the posterior end, that is at the point of attachment on the tongue there is a V-shaped structure. That V-shaped structure is called sulcus terminalis. Now the sulcus terminalis divides the tongue into two parts the part of the tongue which is present in the buccal cavity and part of the tongue which lies in the pharyngeal region. So this can be called pharyngeal tongue. What do you call it? Pharyngeal tongue. The tongue that lies towards the posterior end is called pharyngeal tongue. The demarcation is brought about by sulcus terminalis. Now in the pharyngeal region of tongue there are certain lymphatic tissue like this. These lymphatic tissues present in the pharyngeal region are called pharyngeal tonsils. What are they known as? Pharyngeal tonsils. Tonsils are made up of lymphatic tissue. They synthesize lymphocytes to impart resistance to the human body. So the tonsils which are there towards the pharyngeal part of the tongue are called pharyngeal tonsils, or they are aptly called lingual tonsils. Aptly called lingual tonsils, since they are present on the tongue instead of calling them pharyngeal tonsils, you can call them lingual tonsils. Then the buccal cavity, the part of the tongue which lies in the buccal cavity, bears different kinds of papillae. The papillae which are arranged in V-shaped form like this, V-shaped form in the vicinity of sulcus terminalis are called circumvallate papillae. Circumvallate papillae. Here, EAMCET and other entrance point of view, you should remember the location of the papillae, their structure and the function. So the papillae which are arranged in a V-shaped form in the vicinity of sulcus terminalis are called circumvallate papillae. About 8 to 12 of them are present 8 to 12 of them are present. Among the papillae, these are the largest papillae. Among the papillae, various papillae present on the tongue, circumvallate papillae are the largest papillae. Then, papillae present on the lateral sides of the posterior lateral sides of the tongue. The papillae present in the posterior lateral sides of the tongue are called foliate papillae. What are they known as? Foliate papillae. The foliate papillae are absent on the human tongue. You must remember this point Bear in your mind. It is present in rabbit and other mammals but not in human being. Foliate papillae are the leaf-like structures present towards the posterior end of the tongue. They are absent in human tongue. Then towards the anterior end, small whitish papillae are present. Small whitish numerous papillae are present towards the anterior end of the tongue. The small whitish numerous papillae which are called filiform papillae. They are known as filiform papillae. They are small in structure and whitish in color, and they are numerous. The most numerous among various papillae. Filiform papillae. And you should remember this point the most important point once again, NEET or EAMCET point of view. The papillae which do not have taste buds in human tongue, you must answer filiform papillae. Except filiform, all the other papillae have taste buds within themselves to detect the taste of the food. Filiform papillae are tactile in function. What is the function? They are tactile in function. Touch receptor, that is the moment you put food in the mouth, you feel the presence of food in the mouth is because of filiform papillae, which are whitish, which are small, and the most numerous papillae. Then the papillae which are scattered among the filiform, scattered among the filiform, like this, they are scattered among the filiform. They are called fungiform papillae here. Fungiform papillae. Fungiform papillae are pinkish in color. They are less than the filiform papillae, They are also present towards the anterior end of the tongue, Since they are mushroom-like, you call them fungiform papillae. On the basis of the shape, you are giving different names to this. The filiform papillae are small thread-like. That's why they are known as filiform. Fungiform are mushroom-like. That's why they are referred to as fungiform. Foliate are leaf-like. Circumvallate are arranged in a V-shaped form. That's why they are known as circumvallate papillae. So remember, except filiform, all the other papillae have taste buds within themselves. They open to the exterior through taste pore. Okay, when you have your food here now, the moment you take the food gets dissolved in the salivary juice. Along with the salivary juice, different kinds of chemicals present in the food here now diffuse into the taste buds and thereby enable you to detect the taste of the food here now. So the taste is mostly, it is an olfaction, okay, gustatory and olfaction, both put together give you the taste of the food here now. Okay, now towards the anterior end of the tongue, mostly the sweet receptors are present. Sweet receptors are present mostly towards the anterior end of the tongue. Anterolateral part of the tongue here now, you have salt receptors. Anterolateral part of the tongue, there are salt receptors here now. Then the posterior part of the tongue, you have the receptors for bitter. Receptor for bitter. Okay. Posterolateral sides, you have receptors for bitter. Then posterior upper part, you have receptors for sour. Posterior upper part, you have receptors for sour. I shall repeat once again. The anterior front part of the tongue, you have sweet receptors. Anterior lateral part of the tongue, you have salt receptors. The posterior upper part of the tongue, you have receptors for the sour. Posterior lateral part, you have receptors for bitter. Okay. Then how are all these tastes detected? Detected by detecting the chemicals present in the food. Suppose the food that you consume contains, say, nimbin. It contains caffeine. Then that gives you bitter taste here. That gives you what? Bitter taste. The food that you consume contains acids, Acids give you sour taste, The food that you consume contains acids. Acids give you sour taste, The food that you consume contains different kinds of alkalis, salts. They give salt taste, The food that you consume contains, say, different kinds of sugars, different forms of monosaccharides, glucose, fructose, so on and so forth, aspartame, so on and so forth. They give you sweet taste, So depending upon the type of the chemical present in the food, the taste of the food is also felt. The taste is felt on the basis of gustatory and olfactory receptors. So this is with regard to the important points, the tongue of human body here now. Remember all these points, EAMCET and NEET point of view here now. Now we shall talk about the next part of the buccal cavity, that is teeth here now.